Hi, welcome to a special edition of Comcast Newsmakers because we're coming to you from our state capitol in Springfield. I'm Paul Lisnek. We get to visit with our senators and representatives. Well, the state is in financial trouble, and one way out, at least Democrats are suggesting, is that we shift our tax system to a graduated income tax. Meet one senator who doesn't think that's the way to go. Senator Michael Connelly, senator for the 21st District, which is sort of the DuPage area. Western DuPage. Senator, good to see you again.
Great to be here, Paul.
What's wrong with a graduated income tax? It means rich people pay more and lesser than rich pay less.
That's what the concept says. That's what the talking points is. Hey, make the rich pay more and everything. All our debts go away. But in practice, that's not the case. We went to a flat tax here in Illinois during the Constitutional Convention in 1970 for a specific reason. And actually, Leader Curry and Speaker Madigan were delegates to that convention. The flat tax was designed for certainty and predictability, not just for businesses, small and large, but for families, so that they could predict what they're going to be paying and they could budget accordingly. Going away from that, particularly in these times of uncertainty, is the wrong way to go.
Well, when you say they could predict, I mean, the thing is, if I know my income level, then I would know. I mean, I have to know what the rates are, but I could say, okay, I'm at this certain income level. I know what my rate is going to be, so why isn't that certainty?
Well, what's the lack of certainty is that these brackets can change at any time. For example, Representative Martwick, a Democrat from Chicago, has a bracket that says if you're making from $15,000 or above, you go to 6%. Well, that's already a 1.25% income tax increase. Now, those brackets can change at the whim of a General Assembly, and we've seen in other states, New Jersey and Connecticut, for example, where the wealthiest folks, they leave. They domicile in Tennessee, Florida, Texas, where there's no income tax. There's a big hole in revenue. So the brackets start coming down, and people making $50,000 to $75,000 are now considered rich in some parts of the country, California, for example.
But is it any more certainty if you have a flat tax? I mean, look, the legislature, at its whim, decided to raise the flat tax up to 4.9%. I know you were a no vote, but it passed, so why isn't that the same kind of risk in terms of that can go up too, and it has?
That's true, but I do think that as you've seen how difficult it is to pass an income tax increase in Illinois, changing the brackets is far more complicated and far more, I think, for the voter back home, it's a little bit more complex where, oh, they're going to just put a little more tax on the rich. That sounds great, but then they wake up and realize, wait, I'm making $75,000 a year and I'm now rich. How did this happen?
So given that we all agree that everybody has to live within its means, and Illinois has certainly not done that, what's the fix? Because if the answer is we need to cut our way, one of the things we learned in the 2-year budget crisis was it looks like social programs, things that really help people in need, that's what's getting cut. It's like the only thing that's not mandated by the courts.
What's sad is last week the Senate Human Services Committee passed $1.4 billion in additional spending without a revenue source. It's a very simple concept. If you're going to create new spending programs, show us the funding source. If we don't have that funding source, then don't spend the money and don't appropriate. That is the problem with Illinois right now is we can grow our revenues organically or by taxing, but they just want to spend it out the door when you have unpaid bills, you have untold liabilities. We can go into that for another 20 minutes, but it's just an artful way, I'll say.
So, and less than a minute left, but so I guess what I'm saying is, let's say that spending bill you're talking about, suppose you supported it, you wanted to help what would you have recommended to pay for it then?
Well, I wouldn't, that's the point. That's the point.
You just say that we just can't do it.
Here's our revenue number. There's no revenue number agreed to in the House. It starts in the House and we do one in the Senate, and then the budgeteers sit down and say, this is what we have this year, and we'll go from there. We haven't done that this year. We haven't done that in a couple of years, frankly. That's the number. Here's the revenue we have. It would be great to have that program or this program, but we just simply don't have that money. So unless and until we have economic growth and we're a booming Midwest economy like we used to be, we're not going to be able to afford that.
We're going to have to keep our eye on it. Thanks for joining me. Senator
Thanks,
Michael
Paul.
Connelly of Illinois' 21st District. We'll see what the future holds. I'm Paul Lisnek. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.